Once my article came in Times of India and this teacher somehow found my email ID and she wrote a mail to me saying, I always knew you're going to become something big in life.
Thank You Cancer was your first book. So what was in your mind to select such a negative statement or a contradicting statement to a title of a book?
Any disease or anything, it could be a problem in business, anything. It's how you see it that makes all the difference. So if you see cancer as something that's going to kill you, that's so troublesome, so big, it's going to devour you, then you just succumb to it. But instead, what I saw in my mom's life is that she bounced back and she surprised all the doctors and she told everyone that, hey, I'm on top of the world, even while she was going for a surgery. And
to get something out of you, out of creativity, you need to have a me time. So what do you think of me time?
I'll just be sitting and I'll be watching the boats, the horizon, and just letting whatever thoughts come to me. Because what I feel, Gulshan, is that the only way you really get to know yourself is when you stop doing and you start being, and you can only be when you're alone.
Namaste. Welcome to another talk show, Talk with Gulshan Bafna. This week we have an eminent author who started as a confusing girl from her schooling to becoming a national award winner author. She has written 5 books till now and have won many awards and nominated to several awards more coming forth. Welcome, Megha Bajaj.
Thank you so much, Gulshan. Absolute pleasure to be here. And a lot of people who've been on an interview with you tell me it's a beautiful experience to be with you. So I'm excited and looking forward to what's going to unfold.
Thank you so much for that. So we are excited here to hear your story from being an wandering, confused girl in a teenager to becoming an author at 23 and getting a national award at this age. So we just like to hear the story about yourself in a bit.
Sure, Gulshan. So like you mentioned yourself that it's a young, confused girl. So in the 6th standard, I remember one incident clearly. My English teacher made me stand up and asked me, what's the future continuous tense of some sentence? And I come from a Marwadi background where everyone at home only spoke in Marwadi or English. So a big joint family, and we never really, Marwadi or Hindi, no one spoke in English at all. So I didn't pick up the language and I couldn't answer my teacher. I remember clearly she telling me, you're dumb, you're good for nothing, you're going to achieve nothing in life. Mark me, you're a vegetable. And all the girls were laughing and I was so embarrassed. From that moment to actually becoming a best-selling author and having the same teacher mail me long back, once my article came in Times of India and this teacher somehow found my email ID and she wrote a mail to me saying, I always knew you're going to become something big in life. And it was a journey. So it's been pretty phenomenal and a lot of breakthrough moments along the way that made this confused, wandering girl to become what she is today. And a long way to go even now. But yeah, a lot of incredible breakthroughs along the way.
Yeah, that's nice to hear. So I'm very curious to know, Thank You Cancer was your first book. So what was in your mind to select such a negative statement or a contradicting statement to a title of a book, saying Thank You Cancer?
Yes. So my mother was diagnosed with cancer in 2005, and that's how we went through the whole journey. And what I realized, Gulshan, is that any situation or any disease or anything, it could be a problem in business, anything, it's how you see it that makes all the difference. So if you see cancer as something that's going to kill you, that's so troublesome, so big, it's going to devour you, then you just succumb to it. But instead, what I saw in my mom's life is that she bounced back and she surprised all the doctors and she told everyone that, hey, I'm on top of the world, even while she was going for a surgery. And so I realized that cancer was just a word and it was no longer this big devil. Therefore, I wanted to say thank you, cancer, in a way to say to the world that even cancer can be seen positively and it can become, actually like a boomerang. and your life can spring from there rather than it killing you or anything of that sort. So I've had quite a few miracles. Maybe as we talk more, I'll talk to you about one other miracle that we experienced with my mother. But yeah, to begin with, that was the reason I wanted to publish this book. Thank you, Cats. And surprisingly, Gulshan, the world's best publishing house, Hay House, they had presence all over the world, and I mailed them, and most people told me you'll never hear from them. Even if you hear after 1 year, you'll hear from them. So forget everything. I mailed the book in the night. The next evening, the CEO of the company called me and said he loved the book and he wanted to publish it. And he told me, please say no to all other publishers.
Okay.
So, yeah, so apparently the title clicked.
Yeah, so I could sense that positivity that you had on the book and on the faith also for your mother to get it cured. So that point would be anything that is more positive with you happens around you. I could sense more of that. So that's yes. Another good point for anybody that who sees a video. Let it be a child or a grandmother who sees it. Anything that you have positivity around you gets it around you.
It does.
To get something out of you, out of creativity, you need to have a me time. So what do you think of me time or a family time?
Beautiful question, Gulshan. So I definitely need a lot of my me time, Gulshan. I'm a person who loves to wonder. I love to think. I love to have these communications with God in my mind. And all of that, as a child, it used to be seen as, oh, is it something bad? Because I would actually bunk school, sit on this one tank and keep talking to myself, and people used to think she's a little strange, why does she do that? But now I realize that unknowingly, even in school days, I was gifting myself with that me time. And that makes so much of a difference. So every day, Gulshan, I'll make sure that at least an hour, okay, minimum. Actually, it ends up being more. I am without any technology. So me time doesn't mean I'm sitting alone and I'm chatting on the phone, because that's not really me time. So it's just, I've been blessed with a beautiful view of the sea. So I'll just be sitting and I'll be watching the boats, the horizon, and just letting whatever thoughts come to me. Because what I feel, Gulshan, is that the only way you really get to know yourself is when you stop doing and you start being, and you can only be when you're alone. Because when you're with everyone, I'm an author, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm all the roles. But when I'm alone, I'm just Megha. And that's when I get to know myself. So a lot of my writing is actually born out of that aloneness, and I love that. So family time is in its own place. And evenings, once I'm done with all my work, post 8 o'clock, I'll just be with my family and I'm a riot. Okay, so we'll all be laughing and music all over, dancing, having fun. But my me time really, Gulshan, is sacred to me. And I really want to tell every person watching this that whether you're a student, whether you're a CEO, whether you're a homemaker, you need to give yourself some time alone with no technology, just so that you know what are your thoughts, who are you, what are you doing, and it changes your life forever.
I understand me time to have a day-to-day cycle with 1 hour. I mean, to start with 20 minutes to have me time with no technology. So 11 minutes away from technology, you sit with the nature and think about yourself and get everything out of you. So by practicing it for a longer time, you develop your own creativity, or you see a good version of yourself. So that should be very good for, especially for a budding entrepreneur, where they can get out of a more creative ideas instead of going for a bookworm ideas.
Absolutely. In fact, I want to add one thing here, Gulshan. So often it's like when you don't have clarity, you think, should I go this way or should I go that way? You give yourself this me time. And actually, you don't need any other teacher. Your own mind gives you all the answers. So especially for budding entrepreneurs, I think it's a must to get your me time, because in that me time, you'll get all the answers to your entrepreneur journey as well.
Exactly. So that is more important than sitting or hiring some consultant and getting all of these things done. So you are better than anyone else. So to getting to this track, you would have had some setbacks. So what is your biggest setback and how did you overcome it?
Oh wow, there have been so many setbacks, Gulshan. I cannot even begin to tell you. I think each of us deals with different kinds of setbacks, right? But I think what's a very big setback, or what I find very tough to deal with, is judgments of people close to me.
Oh.
So when people far away from me judge me or they have opinions on me, it doesn't affect me. But when in my inner circle, my team, my family, my friends, when they judge me, and I'm sure this is true, you're nodding, so I'm sure it's true for a lot of other young entrepreneurs, that when you're judged by people you love the most, it really hurts, okay? It hurts like crazy. So one of the biggest setbacks I had was during Breakthrough. When that was my latest book, the last book that I wrote. We wanted to release it during the pandemic, okay? And everything was in a lockdown, and the book is about 11 people who began their life from nothing and today they're trailblazers. So the idea was that, and they're from different cities. So in lockdown, how do you get everyone together? And it was impossible to do things. So I had this thought that why not we have the world's biggest virtual book launch, okay? And we launch it virtually. Now this isn't a common idea, because usually you'll always have a book launch in a bookstore with 200-300 people. Suddenly I had this idea that let's do the world's biggest book launch. I can't tell you the amount of people who said, no, it will never work. It's a flop idea. Don't do it. All the people closest to me never believed in it, okay? But something in my mind kept, and I believe that's the God whisper. When you're alone and when you're meditative, I think God whispers to you, and God was constantly whispering to me saying, you must do this. And the world outside was not agreeing to it. How to go about it. So all that way where I had to convince people, plead people, tell them, empower them, excite them. And I'm an author. I'm not, I'm all about words and writing. So it's not very natural. It used to not be natural for me to speak so much. But I had to speak and speak and speak and speak, morning to night, convincing people. So the biggest setback was we wanted to have the world's biggest virtual launch, where we wanted to have 111 people attending it. Okay. 15th August 2020 was the date for the launch. Okay. On 14th August midnight, we just had 23,000 registrations. Okay. Now I want 111 because we've already announced that it's the world's biggest book launch. Yes. And we only have 23,000. Now, in the next 12 hours, what would I really change, right? That is when Gulshan, I had the world's biggest breakthrough. We had really worked hard. I had put in all my sweat, my blood, my efforts. The trailblazers had done so much. We had some evangelists, they had all done. I remember bowing down that night to God, okay? And to me, my source of faith is Mahatria, my guru. So I remember just bowing down to him, and I just sent a mail to him saying, dearest Mahatria, I think I have done my best, now you do the rest. That's it. Okay. And I went off to sleep because I didn't know what else I could do, because suddenly I cannot make it from 23,000 to 111. Correct. The launch happens, everything happens. Okay. After 2 days, we got to know the numbers of how many people had attended it. Okay. Can you guess what the number was, Gulshan?
With that phase, that should be more than 111,000 participants.
So we had 382,500 people join us for the virtual book launch. We had surpassed the number by 3 times of what we wanted, and from 23,000 on 14th to 15th, 6 o'clock, how it became 382,500, I still have no clue. But what I understood...
I was also as part of that launch. It should be the level of technology that we have used along with the book to get it. Virtually in that period, we have only seen the company's AGM or the board meeting, everything that goes virtual for the shareholders to get. But to give for a book, that type of a technology launch was next level. It was very good, and introducing your 11 breakthroughs, trailblazers, and yourself was amazing. So I could see that the energy or the time that you had spent on the book on that 2 hours of the launch, it was phenomenal.
Thank you so much, Gulshan. And it was a miracle. And what I realized was the most beautiful thing, and I want to tell this to all the young entrepreneurs. It's like, when I wrote that sentence, I have done my best, comma. Now you do the rest. That comma is actually something going down, right? And what I realized is that when we've done our best and we actually surrender and say, okay, now life, you take over, miracles happen. So I want to tell all of you that when you've done your best and then when you surrender, actually God, life, you call it by whatever name, it takes over and it creates a miracle in your life. So yeah, it was a miracle of, the finest order, Gulshan, and it made all the difference to my life.
So I could see that have faith and do your best. You don't compromise anything on yourself. Whatever setbacks you have, you do your best and leave the rest to him. He will take care. So unless you don't do anything from your side, you cannot expect from anybody. So you do your best and you get abundance from him. So that is a very good awakening even for me to get it to the next level.
In fact, if you don't do your best, then God will take rest on you.
Yes.
He's not going to move with you. So yeah.
We should do our part to get it from him. So while interacting with you, I understand there was a 55 years old lady who was, after her surgery, was about to get his retirement life into a peaceful way. But she came into across you and you did something miracle. So we just wanted to know how did that happen, or how was that flow? What was that thinking of that young lady who thought to do this even after a bypass surgery?
Sure. So Gulshan, basically the beginning of it was how my company got formed. It's called Wonder of Words, or WOW, as everyone knows it. So I used to write. I loved writing, but I didn't know I can teach writing. A lot of people in 2010 started telling me that you write so well. We want to write. We want to learn from you. Can you not teach us? Can you not teach us? That's how I just wrote one message on Facebook saying, hey guys, thinking of starting my online writing workshop. If interested, mail me. And I dropped my mail ID. I forgot all about it. When I came home, Gulshan, and I checked my mail, there were 36 emails from across the globe of people wanting to learn writing. That's when it struck me that there's such a desire in people to express themselves through words, and why not I've become that instrument to help them. That's how my company called WOW got started, where I train people to write better online. And you've also been a part of the WOW journey, so you know about it. It's actually, I call it writing, but it ends up being a very self-discovery, breakthrough kind of a workshop, because it reveals you to you, So I've been doing this for 10 years, and about more than 1,000 people have joined the workshop, learned writing, become best-selling authors themselves, and it's been a journey. So this particular 55-year-old, we call Beena Pillai, who's my neighbor, and she wanted to write, but she had just had an angioplasty, and the doctors were like, you're 55, you've had a bypass, now it's time to rest and retire and, just be peaceful, grow some plants, that's all. That was what they wanted to prescribe her life. She had this fire to write, and I saw that fire. She came to me and she joined the workshop, and she's like, Megha, can you make me into an author? And I said, yeah, let's do it. Okay. So the way we worked with her week on week, it's so exciting. In 6 months, she released her first book of poetry. Okay. She had a grand launch where she in fact called me as the chief guest, and it was such a hit that she won awards for it. It went on to becoming like quite a talked about book. Post that, she's written 2 to 3 more books. She's become the president of, many channels and all where authors are, collecting. And she's an inspiration to everyone. So this little incident taught me, Gulshan, that there's no age to start expressing yourself, you know.
Exactly.
Whether you're 5 or you're 55, you can express and you can become all that you want to be. And again, that same formula from the previous thing that we spoke of, you know, it's like when you put your effort and you have the faith, then the energy just takes over and miracles are created. So Beena is an author, a recognized author now, and bypass heart, I think it's nowhere in her mind. She's like on the zeal to do a lot more things. And I love the fact that she's shown everyone that everything is possible.
From being a confused girl to get yourself into an author and get many more people into writing or getting their passion involved at their retirement age, not just grow book, read Mahabharata or Bhagavad Gita and get the time passed. Instead, write what you have in your mind and get it to other people is a very, I could say, this is one of the good pace that you have gone through, that you have a satisfaction that I've done something good for this period of my life. Not for the entire,
Sure.
but yeah, for that time, yeah, I had done my best. I could awaken someone with their writing skills.
Absolutely.
You have won awards, not one or two. You have won many awards, and for this breakthrough book, you have been nominated anywhere. But for the long time that I have seen, you have no head, right? Not been saying that I've earned so much from the books. I do so much. I earn so much. You don't have any head, right? So what is the secret behind that? So nowadays, what happens? People, they start earning 5 lakhs in 2-3 days. I think I've earned 5 lakhs. This is my money. I will do with this so much like this. I'll go here. I'll enjoy here. They have so much of headweight for the small amount that they earn. But for you, it is very big. But I don't see anything of that ego, headweight, everything. So what do you suggest people on how to keep it in your control, or how can you put that into success to get themselves uplifted?
I think the one thing, I love your questions, Gulshan. I have to tell you, and these are not prepared, guys. These are totally on the spot. So there's this beautiful thing that I keep in mind when dealing with this, you know, success going into the head. It's quite a paradox, but what I tell myself is, remember where you came from and remember how far you have to go. So the moment I remind myself where I've come from, that 6th standard girl standing, everybody laughing at her, not knowing where she's going to go in life, nothing, you know, I still feel that little girl in me, and I remember where I've come from, and therefore, you know, the success doesn't go into me at all because I know who I've been. And also, I think when you know how far you have to go, you feel whatever you've done, like the next stage is an international bestseller. So first it was bestseller, then it was national bestseller. Now there's so much of a bigger goal that where is the time to think about where I've come? I don't want to waste a moment. I'll celebrate. See, I'm a very celebrative person. So whenever anything good happens, I'll take one night and celebrate like crazy. Okay, like I'll dance, I'll drive, I'll travel, I'll shop, I'll do everything to make myself happy. The moment that's over, it's like I'm back on zero. And now from zero, I have to rebuild, you know. So I don't see where is the time for me to ever feel arrogant about anything because there's so much to do. And I know where I've come from. So I think the roots and the wings is what keeps me somewhere grounded in between.
So that 2 point was very good takeaway. I would say. Where have you come from and where you should go. So if you have that written in front of your workstation, I know you will keep all your mind, egos, everything in place so that you can work, put your effort another 200% and get to that level. Writing is a skill. So I would like to give a small value system for all my viewers so that you have any process or a value for your brain to work on writing. How do you get that terms on writing? Because writing, yes, you can get it into flow, but writer's writing is always different. So how you have something to that, or how can you suggest someone that you can follow the small value system or small process to get into that?
Sure. So I think one thing that I want to tell everyone is that none of us now can avoid writing because the whole world has moved into social media, into the digital space. So whether you're a brand, whether you are a youngster, whether you're whoever you are, the story you tell is going to make your business successful. Okay. So I think there's no more this concept that I'm a writer, so I have to write. Gulshan Bafna has to write for the business to succeed.
Okay.
Every viewer here agrees that unless you write well and you tell a story well, you're not going to be able to make a difference. I think there's so many tips and I wish I can say all, but I want to leave you guys with one, okay? Let's put it this way, Gulshan. In fact, I'll play a fun game with you since you tell me all your audience is fun and young and awesome. So let's play a game. Gulshan, you just describe to me what you had for lunch.
I had rice, podi, sambar. I had Tamil meals today. So I had rice, podi, sambar, kara kolambu, vatta kolambu, and papad to it.
Okay. Now the same thing, okay? You've told me what you had.
Yes.
Now you visualize this. So there was a green banana leaf. Upon that, the person served me some hot steaming rice. I could literally see the steam rising. On that, he put that brown sambar with the fragrance that I only get at my grandmother's house. There were fresh tomatoes in it. And it looked like it was just waiting to be eaten by me. Oh, and there came the papadam, crispy, the perfect companion to this hot steaming rice and this beautiful sambar. Now, I'm sure all the people watching this, like me, have water in their mouth because you want it, right? You literally have to. So this, to me, Gulshan, is the secret of powerful storytelling. If you can make what you're saying come alive, using the 5 senses of the person. So I literally talked about the fragrance, I spoke about the smell, the color, so you could visualize it all. I want to urge all you guys who pick up, who want to write, even if you're writing a business story, you're writing anything, make it come alive in front of the people's eyes and you watch the way people connect to your words. Same sentence, you told me what you had for lunch. I just gave it a little spin and the difference it makes is what makes all the difference. So I didn't want to just share a writing tip. I wanted to show it to you all.
Yes. So I was always heard, so the product that you have is just 10%. If you're able to present it properly and the way even an unused or non-usable product also gets an super hit. It is how you present the product. So 90% goes for presentation. So I would say that the expression on writing, more what you feel inside for your mother who has cooked. If you just write it in expression in letter, it would be very good value. So this is also a very good, whoever wants to go into content writing or social media, anyone who wants to start their career around, this can be a key for them to start with. So this is the something which best part of my interview. These next 3 to 4 questions. What are your top 3 experiences in your life that you cherish? Let it be a childish, anything, not particularly around your career or an author, anything that you have 3 things in life that you cherish.
Okay, so I want to share one. You love traveling, so one around travel. So I was in Washington, D.C. and I was staying with my friends. And, their house is in the forest. So it's like in the suburbs and it's beautiful. It's this beautiful cottage. And I have a fascination for snow because I live in Bombay where really it's like warm, very warm. So I have a fascination for snow and I was like, please, I just want to experience the snow. So while it was very cold, it hadn't started snowing. And I went to sleep that night and I woke up in the morning and this forest, this beautiful forest, and suddenly these little drops of snow started falling. And out of nowhere, this 8 to 10 deer, that deers came and they were sitting all around the kitchen. Like literally they were a part of the house. And quietly they were all sitting and the snow was falling on their eyelashes. And I don't know, that moment was magical. I mean, it was one of the most beautiful, like as I'm speaking, I have goosebumps because it was that beautiful a moment for me. So that was one. I would have to say the second one was when I got married. So we had a destination marriage, and I was marrying the man I love, and I still love very dearly. So it was the beautiful thing was I'm a Marwadi, he's a South Indian. So two completely different cultures, literally like two states coming together. But the love that we shared was so deep, and the love that the families had between them was so deep that somehow the whole experience was so seamless and so it just flowed. Like I never felt that I'm getting married. I actually felt I've come for a picnic, and it was beautiful because usually in the Indian context, the girl has to dress up so much, she has to do so much. I was so lightly dressed. I was so relaxed. I was like chatting with everyone. So it was amazing. I think
everyone would be
that was
you.
Yeah, I think that was the second moment. And I would have to say the third moment is a beautiful moment with my Guru Mahatria, where he had done a book launch for me, and my whole family was there, and he was there, and he just made my mother stand up and recite the Infinite Prayer. And my mother, so there's a backstory to this, maybe if I'll tell you about it. But she's a miracle. Basically, my mother's been a medical miracle, and it's all been because of my Guru. So he made her recite the Infinite Prayer, and she was literally like a child. So she wasn't even remembering the words perfectly, but the feeling with which she sang the Infinite Prayer, the whole audience of 300, 400 people were all in tears. And I saw this smile blossoming on my Guru's lips, Mahatria's lips, and just that moment of seeing my mother and, in a way, my spiritual creator together. It was like right now, I can cry just thinking of that moment. It was that awe-inspiring for me.
It's very good too. One thing that you love about Megha Bajaj?
Oh, I love your questions, Gulshan. Firstly, kudos to you, and I must tell all of you, come and sit with Gulshan Bafna. You're going to discover yourself.
Thank you.
The one thing I love about myself, Gulshan, is that I'm a very authentic and a genuine person. What I think, what I say, and what I'll do is all the same. There's no gap. There are no gaps in, and nowadays when we meet people, we're constantly wondering, is she for real? Can we trust her? Can we trust him? We have a lot of doubts. We have some wariness. But the one thing about me is what you see is what you get, This is me. It's like that. And there's no pretension. In fact, if I try to pretend, in 10 seconds, you'll see it on my face. I look so uncomfortable. Okay. So, even Mahatri always tells me, it's like the best thing that I love about you is that you're one person with who no one has to second guess. And I think that's my biggest strength, because people really trust me. They really believe me because there's nothing to second guess. What you see is what you get.
So it means that you don't know even to lie. So because what you think, but that comes out of your expression, your words of expression.
Yeah, and if I try to lie, I really look very, very odd.
Yeah, you get
so.
I think that thing is more important. And we have come to the end of the show. The last question is your secret to success in life. So you have gone from being a topper in school to getting an author at age of 23 and coming to a national award winning, and you have many more books to come. So every part you had successes, but if we go to the root of the success, you had one process to it. So we would like to know overall an overview of your secret to success in life.
I think it's really what has been defining me and this interview actually in so many ways is that I really work hard, Gulshan. So I am not a believer that, I'll close my eyes. Nowadays there's a lot of this manifesting talk, like you just close your eyes and you'll manifest. I don't believe in that. I believe that I create my destiny by the actions I take, the words that I speak, by the thoughts that I have. So I believe that nothing's going to happen by itself. So I'm a firm believer of hard work, and Gulshan, I really work hard. Okay. But along with that, it's like, there are two categories of people. There are people who only keep working hard and they remain only hard workers. And there are people who only keep dreaming and they don't actually do anything to achieve it. I think it's a mix of both that makes the magic happen. So it's like I said, you have to work hard, work hard, work hard. And then that comma, where you literally drop yourself in surrender and say, now you take over. Because otherwise you'll just keep working hard. If you leave it to yourself, you will only keep working hard. There has to be that Z-axis, that element of God that comes and plays with you and makes the whole magic happen. So I really think it's this, that you do your best, comma, and then he does the rest, So I think that's the defining thing that I want to tell all entrepreneurs, that you have to be a doer and you have to be a dreamer. One without the other is actually useless, When you can do both, it becomes like one tango with life, and it's pretty phenomenal, the magic that happens.
That is possible. So it was wonderful speaking to you. We had lots of hearing from your journey, from how confusing you were sitting in the terrace and looking at the trees or the seas, and just like wandering your minds, from there getting into a vision from your wander thoughts to getting into a book, and getting a thought and thanking cancer to make it more positive, from there to becoming an award-winning author. It is like a kudos journey that you have had. We salute you for that, and we wish you all the very best for the next upcoming books with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gulshan. It was beautiful to be with you. I've actually cherished knowing myself in this interview. So thank you so much.
All the audience or viewers, whoever are seeing this today, tomorrow, in the future, everyone will have certain takeaways from this. And we wish you and everybody and all the best for the future. Thank you so much. And we will see you on other talk shows very soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Gulshan.